guys, it's Winnie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are testing out a new foundation product. It is from Hourglass. It's called their Vanish Seamless Finish Foundation Stick. I've been seeing a lot of foundation stick products coming out lately, which I actually really love because my favorite foundation at the moment is a foundation stick from Makeup Forever. So I was pretty excited to see this one from Hourglass. I did get a chance to swatch it when I was at Sephora. I didn't pick it up at the time because I was already using a foundation stick that I really liked, like I mentioned, but they did send this out for me to try out, so I thought it would be a good idea to do a first impression and a demo for you guys. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the product. This is the packaging. I actually think it looks really cool. It's in this like triangular shape, and the two shades that they sent me are in Buff and Ivory, which I think Buff matched me the best when I swatched it. Ivory is a little bit too light for me right now. I think I might try to use the lighter Ivory shade as a concealer under my eyes because this is the perfect shape for like right here. And just really quick before I get into the demo, this is the little info card that they sent with the foundation, and there are 26 different shades in this foundation stick, which I think is really awesome because they have some really fair light options as well as some nice rich deep shades as well. So I fall right here in the lighter shades. And just to read some of the claims that this foundation stick has, it says it's supposed to double the amount of pigment versus traditional foundations for instant full coverage. The formula adjusts to body temperature to blend into the skin for smoothest, most seamless finish. It's supposed to be a 12-hour long wear waterproof formula. And I'm just going to go off of how they tell you to use this foundation stick. So I'm going to zoom you guys in so you get a closer look at my face. So as usual, I do not have any face makeup on right now. I just have a light moisturizer that I applied this morning. And going off of their instructions, it says to prep the skin with a Veil Mineral Primer, which I don't have. So I'm just going to use the one that I have, which is by Benefit. It's the Professional Primer, and normally I wouldn't be priming my face to test out a foundation, but since they tell you to do so, I'm going to go ahead and apply this all over. So I have my primer on now. The next step says to apply 2 to 3 dots of Vanish to each section of the face. And it also says to start with less and add more later on if it's necessary because the formula is very concentrated. And they also came out with a new little foundation brush to go with this foundation. So I'm going to use this to blend the foundation. Okay, so let's start with the 3 dots. One on the forehead. Oh my god, it's super creamy. I just like took a chunk out of it. On my cheek and on my chin. I'm probably gonna need more. I'm actually gonna just put some on my nose because I normally do. Let's take the little brush and blend in circular motions. This is the perfect shade, thank God. I wasn't sure if it was gonna match me because it looked a little yellow from the little tube, but it looks like it's blending in really nicely with my skin. I don't know if this has a matte finish to it, but I feel like it kind of mattified my forehead pretty well. They were right when they said the formula is really concentrated. This is pretty heavy coverage for just a dot of the product. Alright, so this is one layer of the foundation all over my face. I did put a little bit too much on my forehead on accident, so I feel like that has really good coverage on it, but I want to add a little bit more to my cheeks here. I'm just going to add a swipe here and a swipe here and just maybe a little bit down here. But right off the bat, the foundation is really creamy and smooth on my skin. Okay, I'm liking the way this looks so far. I feel like the coverage is nice, but it doesn't feel or look too heavy on my skin. A lot of stick foundations can tend to feel that way because it is such a concentrated formula. But this, I feel like, still looks and feels really nice and light. It doesn't feel tacky on my skin at all. I don't think I'm going to add more to it because I'm happy with the way it looks right now. And I do think it is a buildable product because I added a couple more dots on top of the first layer that I applied, and it blended out pretty nicely. So what I'm going to do now is just use the lighter shade that I have, which is in the shade Linen, and I'm going to try to use this as my concealer under the eyes and to highlight areas on my face. I actually really like the shape of this. Whoever thought of doing this in a triangle shape is a genius because it fits perfectly, like right here on the face. Do a little bit here because it is pretty concentrated. This makes it so easy to apply. I'm just applying this where I typically put a little bit of concealer to highlight my face. That went on so smoothly. I really like the way it feels. And I'm actually gonna try to use my damp beauty blender to blend this out to see how it looks. This actually blends really, really nicely with a beauty blender too. Okay, that blended out so nicely with my damp beauty blender. I think I might like this a little bit more than the brush, but it looks completely flawless right now. I really like the coverage of it. I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes just because I typically have a little bit of creasing under there, so I'm going to set it so it doesn't move, but I'm going to leave the rest of my face as it is just to see how the foundation wears. Linen looks perfect as a concealer shade under my eyes, so that's awesome. I don't like to go too crazy with the baking under the eyes. I just don't want this to move at all, so I'm just gonna set it in place. Alright guys, so this is what it looks like with the foundation all over my face. I used a pretty light amount of the product all over, and the coverage is amazing. Okay, I'm back with the rest of my makeup done, and this is how everything looks on top of the foundation. I seriously have no complaints whatsoever right now. The coverage is awesome. It's covered up those blemishes, and it's evened out my skin tone all over, so I really like that. So far, I am super impressed with how everything looks right now. I feel like I can't stop staring at it because it looks so flawless on my skin. So it's about 3 o'clock right now. I'm just going to go about my day and do my thing, and I will check back in at the end of the night to see how the foundation is wearing and how everything is going, and I will give you guys my final thoughts on this product. Alright guys, I am back and it's around 9 p.m. at night now, and I've had the foundation on my face for a total of around 6 hours or so, which is pretty realistic to the amount of time I would be wearing it on a daily basis. It is supposed to be a 12-hour long wear foundation. I'm not going to keep it on for 12 hours just because I don't think I would ever do that, but I have been doing a ton of stuff today. I did spend a little bit of time outside. I walked the dogs. It was like 90 something degrees out, so it was really hot. I was cleaning and vacuuming, and I also groomed my dog Batman. If you guys have a small dog, you know what a pain it is and how hard it is to keep them still and groom them yourself at home. But anyway, I'm gonna zoom you guys in closer so that you can see how the foundation looks now after 6 hours of wear. And just from looking at it in my viewfinder, I feel like from afar the foundation and everything still looks pretty decent, but up close you can definitely see that there are some areas where the foundation has kind of separated. Alright, so right up close you can definitely see that around my nose the foundation has kind of separated. I've been like touching my nose and stuff, especially when I was grooming Batman. My nose was going crazy and it was super itchy, so I'm not surprised to see that there is a little bit of separation there. So if you remember, when I first applied the foundation to my face, I said that there was kind of like a demi-matte finish to it, which I really liked, but looking at the mirror now I can see that a lot of shine has come through around my T-zone, on my forehead, kind of on my nose, and just in this general area, which I'm not really surprised about because I didn't set the foundation and I also have dry combo skin. So this is where I normally get kind of shiny anyway. I just did my whole face. This T-zone area is where I get kind of shiny, which you guys can kind of see hopefully. I don't think it's too bad though, because I have tried other foundations where it's made me look really greasy and oily, but I don't think this looks too crazy. But again, like I said, if you did set it or maybe touched up the foundation, it would look a lot better. And then right on my forehead, there's a little blemish there, which is kind of peeking through. You can kind of see that redness coming through the foundation, so it's kind of separating there as well. But I think other than those areas, I think it still looks pretty decent. It's not too patchy, and it still feels pretty nice on my skin. It's a little bit tacky. I want to say that's due to the super hot weather outside. And going back to the fact that I do have dry combo skin, I feel like if you do have oily skin, this is a foundation you want to make sure you use a primer and a setting powder with. The coverage is amazing. It is full coverage. Definitely buildable, but I wouldn't recommend using too much of it. I think this foundation could easily look really cakey if you overdo it, so use a light hand. And I forgot to mention before, but the brush and the foundation retails for $46, and you get 0.25 ounces of the foundation stick, which I think I'm going to just twist up all the way to see how much product that actually looks like. So this is about how much product you're getting, and again, I feel like that is actually a pretty decent amount of product on account of how little you actually need to apply. So I think this will actually last me a pretty long time. But for the brush, this being $46, I feel like you have some better options out there. It's not a bad brush, but I was pretty happy with using my beauty blender, and it blended out the product really well. This being $46 is a little bit on the more expensive side. And the other thing that I really liked is using the linen shade or the lighter shade that I have as a concealer on my face, and it actually worked out really well. It goes on really smoothly and it blends out nicely too, and it's stayed put under my eyes and all over my face pretty well with a setting powder, so that is really nice. I think using the darker shades as a contour product might work out really well too. So overall, I am really impressed with this foundation. I love the finish, I love how it feels. If you do have really oily skin, maybe try to set it, but for normal and dry skin, I feel like you guys are going to like this. So check this out and let me know what you think. If you've already tried it, what do you guys think of it? Leave it in the comments down below, and I'll leave a link to the product in the description box as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this first impression demo and review for the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. As always, thank you for watching. Thumbs up this video if you guys enjoy first impression reviews, and also don't forget to check out my Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those are linked down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!